Stop taking pills and replace them with food? No, you didn't hear that wrong. It was actually the simple, everyday meals that slowly helped me step away from medications. Thanks to them, I entered my 70s with more ease, less weight on my shoulders, literally and figuratively. I know some of you might be just like I was. You felt that deep, aching joint pain, like someone squeezing every bone in your body. There was a time I was scared just to stand up. I didn't go anywhere without two things: a pain pill and a walking cane. But then one day, I learned a secret, not from a doctor, but from an old friend, from a humble little kitchen, and from the simple gifts of nature. And from that day on, I started to change. Today, as you watch this video, I no longer need those pills. The cane I used to lean on every morning, now it's just a memory. And I want to share with you all the foods that help me walk easier, live healthier, and do it without medication. They're simple. They're easy to make. Anyone can do it, even if you live alone. Don't believe me? Watch until the end of this video. You'll see just how easy they are and how powerful the results can be. Life was peaceful, but not always pleasant, especially when your day starts with an ibuprofen. I used to take one every morning. My left knee clicked, my right wrist ached, and my lower back felt like someone was pressing down on it. At first, I thought, maybe it's just the cold. It'll pass in a few days. But one winter came, then another, and the pain never really left. The doctor said, "It's just part of getting older, Mr. George. It's normal." I nodded. Well, maybe I really was getting old. Every morning, I'd open the drawer, take out the pill, swallow it with warm water, then I'd sit and wait for the pain to ease. It usually didn't ease much, just dulled a little. And I'd carry on with my day, quietly worried. Is it okay to take this every day? How long can my liver and kidneys handle it? Then one afternoon, I read a line in the local paper. You might have heard it too. Food is medicine, if you eat the right way. I sighed when I read it. Yeah, that phrase sounded familiar. But just because something sounds familiar doesn't mean you believe it. I never really knew much about eating right. I just ate out of habit. Cold cut sandwich for breakfast, a burger at lunch, and whatever was convenient for dinner. But around that time, my body stopped giving me choices. It started talking to me in the language of pain and constant fatigue. And I knew it was time to change. Not because I suddenly believed in some catchy saying, but because my own body was asking, no begging for it. I didn't stop taking the pills right away. I was scared. I'm not the reckless type, but I started to ease new things in, little by little. Each morning, instead of my usual black coffee with sugar, I switched to a cup of bone broth. Yes, bone broth, the kind I used to think was only good for making soup. I'd buy beef marrow bones at the local market, roast them lightly, then simmer them with ginger, a few slices of fresh turmeric, and a charred onion for aroma. Some days I'd throw in a few jujube dates. Other days I kept it simple. I let it bubble gently for 6 hours on the electric stove. The smell would fill the kitchen. And every morning, I'd ladle myself a small bowl and sip it instead of tea. At first, it felt strange. But gradually, I noticed my stomach felt warmer. My eyes felt more awake. And my knees, oddly enough, felt just a little less stiff. Alongside that, I changed my breakfast too. I replaced it with brown rice porridge. I'd stir in a spoonful of turmeric powder, a few chia seeds soaked overnight, and sometimes I'd crack in a fresh egg. That was it. Simple. But it warmed me up, gave me energy, and I began to notice my wrists felt a bit more flexible. At lunch and dinner, I cut back on red meat. I leaned towards salmon, eggs, and seasonal vegetables like kale, cauliflower, carrots, and broccoli. I read that those foods were high in anti-inflammatory compounds. But what I noticed most was I no longer felt that dull ache after eating. And you know what? That was what kept me going. In the first month, I still took the pills every day. But the feeling of sipping bone broth first thing in the morning made me feel better. The pain in the morning wasn't as sharp anymore. By the third month, I started cutting the dose in half, just as my doctor advised. She was surprised when I told her the pain had eased and encouraged me to keep going with the diet if it was helping. By the 6th month, I only needed the pills when the weather changed, especially on days when the wind came in strong off the ocean. On regular days, I found myself moving around more easily. I no longer groaned every time I bent over to pick something up. And then, by the 9th month, I didn't need the pills at all. I put the bottle of ibuprofen back in the cabinet and closed the door. Every now and then, when the cold really bites, I know it's there if I need it. But not every morning anymore. At the 1-year mark, I realized I had made it through an entire Maine winter without needing painkillers every day. I still get a bit sore if I garden too long or walk too far, but it's a natural kind of soreness, not the kind that forces you to sit down and catch your breath. I didn't cure the pain. I just learned how to live with it, a little more naturally. And strangely enough, I feel healthier than I did at 65. A lot of folks have called and asked me, "George, what on earth are you eating? Is it easy to make?" I laugh. It's real easy. I'm no chef. I'm just an old guy with a slightly bent back and hands that tremble a little, but I found a few simple things that work for me. Here they are. Turmeric bone broth, beef marrow bones or chicken, roasted ginger, a few slices of fresh turmeric, a pinch of pink salt, or a splash of pure fish sauce. Simmer for 6 hours. Each morning, I sip a small bowl like tea. Brown rice porridge with turmeric, egg, and chia. Soft cooked brown rice, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 chicken egg, 1 tablespoon of soaked chia seeds. A warm, light breakfast that soothes the belly and loosens the joints. Ginger chia banana smoothie. 1 ripe banana, a few slices of fresh ginger, finely chopped, juice of half a lemon, 1 tablespoon of soaked chia seeds. Blend until smooth. I drink it in the afternoon. It's easy to digest and helps me sleep well. That's what I eat. Nothing fancy, no exotic recipes, just consistency. That's the real secret. I'm not telling you to stop taking your medication. Everyone's different. Different bodies, different situations. Some folks need medicine and some don't. But I just want to say this. Eat as if you're healing. Because sometimes a well-made bowl of bone broth can be more powerful than a prescription. If you're in pain, start with 1 cup of broth. Don't rush to quit your pills. Just listen to your body and let food walk beside you. I'm not a doctor. I'm just an old man in Maine who used to hurt, used to be afraid, used to not believe in change. But then I did change because I wanted to live well, live happy, and step into my garden each morning without a cane. Thank you for listening to my story. If this story made you think or helped you in any way, please hit like and subscribe to the Health Revival channel. I still have more to share, and who knows, maybe you'll share your own story too. Wishing you peace, lightness, and if the Lord still walks beside you, then may He bless you and your family always. See you in the next video.